Hello everyone, this is Manda Arpita, and today in this scenario I am going to show you how you are going to swap two numbers of maybe different kind of data types. So here for example I have taken int and a float to be our examples. So in the starting of the program I have used the header file, which is common to include library files. After that I am using namespace std so that I can use all this cout and cin throughout the program to print and scan the values. So in the start I am going to take two values a and b so that we can store the two numbers to be swapped inside this a and b. These are the two variables which I used. And after that, if there is even a third variable which is used, we'll come to know about the third variable later in the next few steps. And after that I am asking the user to enter the value a and b. So when the output screen goes something like this. So here you have enter the values a and b. The user enters 1 and 2 and the computer should be capable of storing these two values 1 and 2. So I am using a cin statement which stores the value a and b. So after storing this value a and b, I am going to swap these numbers. But before I swap this number, I have to make it clear that what is before swapping and what is after swapping for a clear definition and a clear understanding. So for that I say before swapping, and I print the values of a and b over here in the two different lines. After that I am saying after swapping, and I am going to say the new values. But before getting new values, I am going to make you understand what is actually happening behind screen. So here I have swap ampersand a and ampersand b. I am swapping the addresses of a and b. So once I call this function is called and the compiler moves to this part. And what actually is happening inside this part is, we have a, b, c to be our three variables. Imagine let the third variable be a temporary variable. Okay, and now we have a and b whose values are to be interchanged. So what I am going to do is I am going to send the value of a inside the temporary variable and the value inside of b inside the a value and the value of temporary variable inside the b value. So what actually happens, it gets interchanged. I mean the temporary variable which has been created is storing the value of a, so a can be changed as its value is already been stored. So this is what is happening in the program. What I have explained technically is being written in the term of words or expressions in our program over here. So I write int t and t is equal to star of x. I mean the value of x is getting stored in t and value of temporary variable will get stored in b when the value of b gets stored in a. The same thing I have written in the form of x and y and t. So once when I compile this, I say 1, 2, and when I say enter, the before swapping value is 1 and 2. After that it goes to this part, it executes. Once it comes back, the variable's value is changed. So it is printed as 2 and 1. This is what is happening. Now let me track to the explanation of our float thing. So here in float we have the same scenario, but wherever I have int, I am going to replace it with float. So here is the header file which I have used and all the things, stuff like that. And after that I have float a, b. So I am going to take two float values and I am going to swap the two float values over here, and I am displaying before swap the two values, after swap the two values, and in here the temporary variable will also be stored as a float value. That is because, for instance, let us take the output with the float temporary variable. So they are asking me to enter the values 2.5 and 9.6. Now it says before swapping it is 2.5 and after swapping it is 9.6. Before swapping a is 2.5, b is 9.6, and after swapping a is 9.6 and b is 2.5. But as I have explained, what is happening is the a's value is getting stored in temporary. So a's value is given in float, but when it's getting stored in temporary, this temporary, if it is made of int, it will be only capable of storing an int value. So when it returns the value or stores the value back to b, it will not be able to return the float value. Then the interchanged value will not be the same. A will have the float value of b, but b will only have the int value of a, which is stored in b. So let me show it. For example, if I have an int over here and I'm going to execute it, I'm going to tell I need some values of 2.6 and 3.5. Look in here, before swapping it was like something like this, and A got the exact value. Because of the temporary value, the B's value is not unable to get back to the float thing, so it is showing in the int format. So that is how you swap two numbers using this function. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you understand. Thank you.